Hi, everyone. This is the House of Star. Today, we're going to be talking about black men and their issues with finances. How does it affect us? So, we're titled it The Land of Oh No, because when you have money issues, you're probably saying, oh no, when it comes up. So, once again, we have Josh on with us live once again. So, Josh, how do you feel about the land of oh no, and how does it affect
A-
the black male?
AKA that dude, because we're in the land of Ace. We're in the land of that dude. Um, so basically, you know, what's really going on, I like to call it the land of oh no. So, fellas, you ever seen a chick? She bad, she got red hair, but she can't even edit her own sentence, and she can't even finish the sentence, and she says stupid stuff like, oh, I go to college for a degree for fun. That's the land of Ono, because that's going to be a deal. So, what we mean by the land of Ono is you're not taking me to this location. So, for example, this is where the standards come into play. Fellas, you have to have a standard. So, what is the standard? You have to make at least $50,000 in the South, and we're talking about the South because if you go to the coast, if you're in New York, you need 100,000. If you're in the West, you need about 500,000. It's that ridiculous. But in the South, you need at least $50,000. If you're not making at least $50,000, you are going to have the chick that you don't want. You're probably going to live in the hood, so you're probably going to hear gumbo. You're probably at a job that you don't really want to be at. A career, you don't probably know what a career is. You probably have student loans if you want the student loan route, and probably your business isn't doing that well. So these are just the essence of the land of oh no, like everything's wrong. It's like an alternate reality. It's like you're going to this world and you know you're supposed to have more, but like your chicks are going against you, your parents are going against you, your friends are going against you, and it's like in your mind you want nice stuff, but you can't afford nothing. So this is where you're starting to juggle stuff. You're like, should I pay the light bill or should I pay the water bill? Once you start getting into the land of oh no, you're going to keep going down this rabbit hole. You really are this wormhole. It's only going to get worse. What you think, A Star? Go ahead.
I mean, money's always been a key issue in life, relationships, and everything else. I think it comes down to uh us not being. I mean, we were told how important money was. I think as kids and going as in teenagers, and they had classes on it. But I think people didn't really explain it. I think the only way people found out was once they either separated from their parents or they either lived a very rough life where they had to make ends meet fast. You know what I'm saying? So normally the people that made the money fast, they did something illegal, which is drugs or prostitution or hustling or stealing and robbing. So they have more of a faster understanding of what money means. But if your parents worked or your parent worked and they took care of your needs, you really didn't have an understanding of money till probably till you was like 16 or 17, and they your parent probably made you go work for McDonald's or Walmart or something of that nature. Um, but for black males, I think a lot of us have been coddled, you know what I'm saying? And because of that, we don't come into an understanding of money until either a female breaks our heart or we can't get something that we wanted or desired, and I think that's what happens. So you're getting to the power of money very late in the game while other people are a little more faster than you are. What you think about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, if you look at the numbers, I think that Black America, and this is saying Black America, so this is actually including the other gender in our culture. They're pretty much included in this study, but their number were the lowest on the talent pool when it comes to tech. So at average tech jobs, such as like coding or a programmer, they're making like 100,000 off top, averaging. Now, if you put in education, the average career could be anywhere from 400,000 coming out of Ivy League school. I said Ivy League. So that's Harvard. That might be, Yale, stuff like that as well. I think what you're talking about is a generation that's gone. I think the pimps and the hustlers and everything, they're gone because the hustlers that sold drugs that, our father's generation that locked them up. Even you could say the Panthers, you could even say the gangs and stuff, they were providing for the communities. These gangs ain't providing for these communities. They're too busy out here killing each other. And then the hustlers that's left or whatever that's actually selling dope, you might still have them, but compared to what it was, it's not even close. So if you're talking about those that were, I would say, frowned upon, unless you were in that circle, to me, they're still around. But I mean, is it the NBA players? Is it the rappers? I mean, that's literally one category of the entertainment is all we have left. And so once you go outside of that realm, you're in that land of oh no. So this is a great, shout out to my big bro Jason Black. I mean, he said it. We have too many black brothers that we're not in this level of what's the word I'm looking for? We're looking for sex. Like engineering is not sexy because it's going to take 8 years for you to make real money. Electrician will take what? A year for you to make real money? Welding to make real money? Now, if you do your own company, you can master the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think necessarily this is going on in the thought process because when you said we're coddled, we're looking at like, okay, our moms are feeling sorry for us because let's be honest. And I'm not sitting there knocking every single situation of it being the same, but our pops weren't around. That's what I'm talking for whatever reason. It could have been mom's fault, could have been his fault, whatever, but they weren't around. So you're setting up these franchises. So you're allowing me to go into school. I'm not protected. They're saying I'm slow. I have an ADHD problem. You might put me on medicine. And this is what's going on. So by the time you get to high school, you're thinking you're going to make the NBA. You think you're going to make the NFL. So guess what? There's no zoologist. There's no artist. There's no creativity outside of these two spectrums, which is how many jobs is in the NBA, A-Star? 400? How many jobs are in the, what do you call it, the NFL? They have 11. There's 31. So it's 30 times 11. I mean, maybe 1,000. How many black people in this country? Billions? At least a couple billion. I mean, it might be billions. Probably billion.
Millions.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean, but
not billion. Probably a million something. Like maybe 50 million, maybe.
So what does the rest of us do? You know what I mean? And that's where I think we're at because you didn't get that success to make the NBA for recreation. You're too busy reading. And I'm not. Is definitely the way to go with going to school. I'm not necessarily saying that, but the education of self to understand how can I make money? How can I make a business? How can I sit there and do this? There's not enough of that going on. I feel like the thought process has put us in the land of oh no because we're taking jobs that are way below the poverty line. You got brothers out here with degrees working at Target. I've had conversations, not as a manager, as a cashier. You cannot provide for a family if you were working at Target. I'll throw myself on there, fellas. I was a property manager making $16 an hour. I have a coworker or a colleague. He works for Walmart. He was making more money than me, y'all. More money than me at Walmart than I was a property manager in the dirty South. What can you do at $16 an hour to take care of a family, a house, bills? What? What are you going to do with that salary? What are you going to do, A-Star? Is that crazy? How much did we make at Delta, A-Star? We started off at $886, y'all. $886.
Yeah.
Was it lower than that?
It was about like $850, $886, close to $9. After a year, probably was like $9, $9.25, $9.35, somewhere around there.
Well, let me ask you this, A-Star. How many black brothers, black Americans did you see as pilots? You saw plenty of us down below. They called it above wing and below wing. They called it below wing. That should tell you that right now. How many black pilots do we see, A-Star? Go ahead, brother. It's on you.
I might have seen like two, maybe two. maybe two black pilots at the most. Everybody else was either, I mean, white, you know, white male, older white male, probably like at the time, probably like in his late 40s, late 50s, you know, close to retirement, probably.
Correct. So
So,
you saw two. Go ahead, A-Star. I'm
yeah,
listening.
so I would say two, you might two at the most. I mean, yeah, I mean, you got to think that those jobs, I mean, probably for years they had it locked into where it was probably just, white males. You know what I'm saying? Just like the stewardess jobs, they were just primarily white females until they decide to let a black female in. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? My ex-wife, I mean, her mom was one of the first black stewardesses, and that's for United. And she had the newspaper clippings for that. So I mean, I think that happened in like the late 60s. You know what I'm saying? So think about how many years they were flying airplanes. I think they was flying airplanes since what, the 1920s, 30s.
Yep.
So they had stewardesses then. So you got to think from the 20s or 30s to the 1960s. That's over 40 years, right? Close to it.
Yep.
So I mean, they took a whole 40 years from the 20s to the 60s to let a black woman in as a stewardess. So imagine the pilots. It's probably about the same thing. Probably maybe might be the fit. Mine took longer to get the black pilot. They might not had them until the 70s, maybe the late 70s or early 80s. So, they have certain jobs that's on lock. Uh, I mean, I know a lot of things have to deal, me and Josh were talking earlier. I think a lot of things definitely have a lot to deal with your decision making. But I think also if a person doesn't know if those doors are open, uh, they can get discouraged, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they come around the wrong people that don't give them the proper information. Now, if you are determined just on your own to find out something or to conquer something, that's a beautiful thing. But I think you don't have that many people that are like just gun ho on. Yes, I want to be an astronaut. Yes, I want to be a pilot for Delta. Yes, I want to be a fighter jet pilot. Yes, I want to be a zoologist. I think some people are looking for that mentor or just that pat in the back to say, yes, go for it. And a lot of people are not getting that. And if they are getting it, they're getting the wrong information. And that wrong information is leading them to say, okay, well, I guess I can't do that because, my uncle or my mom's best friend or my dad or grandma and grandpa said I couldn't do it.
Correct. Correct. And I think, I mean, you hit it on the head. I think what it was you had a whole generation that when they said, okay, you're gonna go to integration. I think we had all these programs. I think we had all these programs before integration. Seriously, in the black community. It wasn't just barbershops. It wasn't just beauty shops. It wasn't just nails. Like, I don't think we truly understand, fellas. Like, shout out to Madam C.J. Walker. She was building factories. In the time where they said we couldn't read. She was building factories. And we over here worried about school. Okay, let's go with Booker T. Washington. I didn't really put Booker T the way he thought, but did not Booker T knock on doors and raise over $6 million? Knocking on doors, going door to door? Guess what, fellas? White folks would not sell him brick. They would not sell him brick. So it's definitely possible instead of being in these two arenas because we're trying to make a lifestyle out of the land of Oh Noooo. We don't have no freaking, what's the word? Not opportunity. We don't have the chance to date these sisters right now making $20,000. We don't even have a chance making $50,000 with these sisters in the South. The reason I'm saying that is because you're on dwelling. You're not surviving. You're not even on surviving. Surviving is check to check. This is more like it's a choice of what do I pay, what not do I pay. That's the whole thing. So you're working in these industries where you have these factory jobs. It's a bunch of black people. But the truck drivers, guess what, fellas? You could be a truck driver. It takes a month to get your truck driver's license. Average medium, $50,000 to start. Once you start getting A little bit of traction, 100,000. Yes, I've done it. Boring is I don't know what. Get out your feelings. You gotta do it. That's real talk.
Yeah,
But the
yeah, yeah,
truck
yeah.
driving industry, how
Yeah.
many black-owned truck drivers do we have? I don't know. Probably not that much. We talked about the welding. We talked about like me and A Star. We went out to the oil field.
Yeah.
The oil field is another one.
It's a good way to
You're
make money, the
abs-
oil field.
Go ahead.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we did
You're
that. We went to the oil field. And I mean,
correct.
he probably brought back more than me because he did what was that y'all used to do? Fracking,
Frack.
fracking.
Yep.
And I did coil tubing. Coil tubing, I went with a good crew. So if you get with a good crew, I did what I think 6 or 7 days with a good crew. I came back that month with 10K after taxes. You know what I'm saying? So Josh probably got way more than that from me because I think they did like 10, 13 days on a job. That's what they call a job. So whatever job y'all get, if it's a 10-day, a 7-day, a 10-day, or 13-day job, you're gonna make money off of that. You just
Yep.
got to be a great worker, and if they like, well, of course, if they like you, because everything's about politics. That's what you call politics. There, if they like you, then they'll put you with the good crew. You work hard, they're gonna put you with the good crew. So that means that when you get over there, they put you with the good crew and they like you and you work hard, they're gonna try to bring you back for the next job, you know. And then next thing you know, they're gonna want you to stay with their crew. They're gonna consider you part of their crew, and then you're always gonna be out for 10 days or 13 days or 7 days. Because sometimes they have 1 day jobs and 1 day job might only pay you like I don't know $1,000, but shoot, a 10, 13, a 7, 10, 13 day job, you're probably going to bring home about 11, 15, maybe even 20 racks after taxes.
Exactly. 15,000, yo. And how long did you work, Jake? Did you work a month? Did you bring in 15,000? A month, yo.
Nah, me and Josh joined together. He went out
Yep.
before me. I went out after him. He went out in November. I went out in December because I wanted to spend time with my daughter. When I got there right after Christmas, or it was New Year's, somewhere around that time, right after New Year's, I believe. So Josh was already out there at least 3 or 4 weeks before me, and he was already with a crew, and so he was making money. And what I had planned out for the oil rigging was 2 weeks on, 1 week off. So I had to be in Texas, Odessa, Texas, Midland, for 2 weeks, and then they'll fly me back to Atlanta, Georgia. Well, Atlanta, Georgia airport for a week. I'd be home for a week. Then I have to fly back. They were paying for all of that. Sounds too good to be true, right? Correct. It was because what it was is tax write-off stuff. But if you happen to be a great worker, they would have kept you, you know. But that's part of the game. But it's neither here or there. What's need to be said is that once you get with the right team, you're going to be making money. And if you have
Correct.
the enthusiasm to learn and talk and get to know the right people, and you work hard, they would keep you. You know, so that's what it really comes down to at the job. So we both got laid off. Josh got laid off
Yep.
before me. He warned me, said, man, they laid us off. They didn't lay us off until a week later because we were coil tubing. We wasn't frackers. Coil tubing is something new. But they laid us off the next month. So I already had the heads up from Josh. But Josh got his CDL and went back oil rigging. You know, you can take it from there, Josh, because I gave him a little history, you know. But
Absolutely. And I mean, and fellas, this is what I'm saying. When I got that CDL, the first thing that I thought was because it was again like A Star was talking about. He was pretty much saying they took us to these places, and I mean it's places. And see, this is the first thing, fellas. If you're in Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, Cali, get out your feelings because sometimes you're gonna have to get out of those areas to go get money. That's what A Star was pretty much just telling me. So when I got out, when they laid us off, the first thing they said was, if you don't have your CDL, they're gonna lay you off. So they gave us a 3-month window. They really gave us a 3-month window to get our CDLs. So I was trying to figure out how the hell I was gonna get my CDLs. Now getting your CDLs is probably about $2,500. No, that sounds like a lot of money. They have programs called the WIA, WIA, WUA. I want to say it's WIN. If you're in the military will pay for it. If you're in the natives will pay for it. You can take a loan out for $2,500 if you got Navy Federal. That's real tough. We're just throwing you down. So it takes about a month to get your CDL. Now, once you get the CDL, there's another loophole. You don't have that experience. I was lying to these straight white boys, telling them I had more experience than I did. I was getting in accidents, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? But thank God I didn't hurt myself. Thank God I didn't kill nobody. But I got experience as I went. So once I was out there, the average median for the oil filter when I was out there was anywhere from 50,000 to 75,000. And even up. Some days, guys, I brought back 100,000 a year. So what I was trying to sit there and say, this is what G's talking about. You don't have to go to North Dakota. G has friends that work at Walmart. When he's told me his friends have worked at Walmart, here's what Walmart has to do. They have to have truckers bring in the groceries. These truck drivers are making at least $90,000, and they're home every single night. That's one industry, fellas.
Correct.
One industry. And that's just truck driving. We ain't even talking about welding. We're not even talking about like other. Again, if you want to go the tech route, there's plenty of tech. There's techie jobs. There's programming. You can you can work from remote. This is what we were talking about just now with A-Star. You can work 2 jobs.
Yeah.
You can work 2 jobs at the house, get 2 laptops, put another address in another area or another state, because these jobs are going by state, because nobody's going back to work. So guess what? You can get Cali wages working in Georgia.
Correct.
Just get 2 laptops. You can get 1 in New York, but you got to start the jobs at different times or at the same time. Just get out of the box. Go ahead, Ace.
And even though I know this stream is dedicated to the black men, to talk to them, just to let the sisters know, when I was oil rigging, we had one woman, and she was a black woman that they loved, that came in with me, you know, that was part of the people that came with me and Josh, but she happened to come out to Texas, and they loved her, you know. She was ready to work. You know, of course, she was a woman, so you know the guys that's from Texas, like, oh yeah, you know, bring her on a job, So she was getting jobs. You know what I'm saying? So women, y'all can do oil rigging too. You know what I'm saying? You could be an HR person. You could be out there on the field. You could, if you got your CDL, you could drive your truck. So you know, those are ways to get money. And if you're a couple, if you could do the team drive, right, Josh?
Yeah.
You could do the team drive. There were some Mexican brothers. There were actual brothers, 2 actual Mexican brothers where I was at, and they had a nice Peterbilt truck. Right, I'll never forget it. They had a Peterbilt truck, and they sat on their butts almost all day until they got the call to move either or some of the rig equipment or water. So they sat there like with us, but they were more like they were contracted out. So they didn't have to do the same things as us. They just had to wait to get a call to move stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they had it sweet. They sat on their butt most of the time, but when they got that call, they'll move the truck out. And guess what? They probably just them moving one thing of water or something like that. They made like 15, 20 racks just off of one move. Then they might have to bring some equipment back. That's another 15, 20 racks. So that's all they would do, you know? So one would drive, another one would sleep, then another one would take over. So they did a team thing. They were brothers. So I guess they split the contracted money. So you could do that with you could do that with your actual brother, your friend, your girlfriend, whatever. You know, y'all could do it as a team and get that money contracted out. You have your own truck, you can make a lot of moves with that.
Absolutely. And then as they start talking about the thing that I think that we should have done that we didn't do, but if I ever go back, I'm going to do it, is create a YouTube channel, gentlemen. Like what we're doing right now. Tell them about that you're going out there. Like, look, this is Truck Driver Dan, whatever. I'm going out here. I'm going to make 100,000. Because people are going to look at stuff like that with the hashtag. This is Trader A-Star. I'm out here in the military, gentlemen. I'm over here seeing, well, I don't know if you do the military, but I mean, when you went on Liberty, you know, he's seeing the whole world out there dying. So there's opportunities, guys. I mean, A-Star definitely wants you, before we get out of here, tell us about the military. Tell them about the GI Bill. This guy can get a house.
Well, I work with a
Gentlemen,
young man.
you don't have to. You don't have to. Uh, A-Star can talk about this a little bit more, but
Yeah,
brother,
ironically, I work with
if
a young fella. He's actually he's a great worker, and his name Monty. All right, and he's a young black male. He just graduated, so he wasn't at work for the last couple of days. So he just graduated on I believe he said Friday. So that's excellent. He graduated. He's 19 years old, and he told me he's going into the Navy. I used to be in the Navy, so I was telling him, I was giving him tips, for the Navy, you know, from what I experienced. But yeah, if you join the military, I would say the three tips I can give anybody. Number one tip: make sure you do good on your ASVAB test. You knock that out the box, you'll get great jobs in the military, whatever branch you join. Just make sure you do good on that test. That test is going to have a lot of questions on, like, really has a lot of tests on manly questions like screwdrivers, saws, how to, what's this part of a car engine? Your course math is always going to be a major thing in any of these jobs, knowing your times table, your squares, all that stuff, square by. So, learn that stuff, study the test, so that way you can pass the test and you get a good score. That good score will reflect what kind of jobs you can get in the military. So you get a good score on the ASVAB, you get good jobs in the military. I would say after that, after you get your job, try to pick a job that's gonna benefit you outside the military. So you need a job like it's definitely have to be something that can transition. That's what they call a transitional job. So you want your job to transition into computers, maybe nursing, maybe law, maybe journalism, what I said, electronics, computers, if you're into like the exciting stuff, okay, weapons. You could be a police officer, teaching, you could teach people how to use a weapon. So you just need something that can transition you out the military and make you lots of money. And then I say number three, of course, like Josh said, you have your GI Bill. You have your GI Bill. That way you can go to school. So you can go to school for more training, more learning. Maybe you can learn something different. So all that stuff will advance you. Once you get out, you have access to the GI home loan. So they'll give you that home loan. You get your home. Maybe you can Airbnb it out. I don't, learn what the rules are. Maybe you can Airbnb out that home, buy another home, and boom, you could be making money like that. So there's lots of things. You just gotta read the fine print, ask, talk, find out. I mean, now you have YouTube. You can look at videos to find these things out. Like, it's not like back in the day where you never really knew. Now you can access a lot of stuff on YouTube and other websites, and to be honest, there is really no reason to be stupid about anything. But I understand that some people don't know where still to go. So I would say, yeah, go to YouTube. Just Google it. Talk to someone that was in the military. Just like we're talking about oil rig stuff, talk to somebody in the oil rig. Like, luckily for y'all, me and Josh have done damn near every job except for, as far as I know, we haven't been out in the ocean fishing yet. But we've done damn near everything else.
Absolutely. I mean, in closing, I think really the main thing, gentlemen, that I would say, if you go do these type of jobs, because right now you can go out into the, like Ginger said, you on the ocean, you make a shitload of money on the ocean. Be out there for 6 months, they got oil rigging and stuff, and they make bank. So you want to think for 6 months, you ain't got nothing but to make money. But I think the main thing is buy a house, and don't even live in the house. I want you to Airbnb the house. Buy yourself a trailer. You can live on your property. Airbnb that stuff. I just get ahead of what you're doing.
Yeah, and I would like to say one thing, because you hit on something, a money tip for everybody. You don't have to be in the military for this, but this is something I learned in the military. I had a gentleman tell me when I was in the military, he said, look, what you do is get you a second bank, have some money coming out the main account that you have money sent into. So he's like, have like $200, $300. He said, if you could spare more, have it come out, go into other bank account. He said, cut that card up, cut it up, cut that card up. That way you don't touch it. He said, when a year go by, just check and see how much is in there. He said, you'd be surprised how much money you saved up doing something like that. So that's a smart move for a military person, and that's a smart move for somebody that's not in the military. So there's ways to make money and save money. You just have to find those ways, and actually you probably make more money doing that than actually Bitcoin, to be honest, because you're just saving the cash that you make. You're paying yourself. But yeah, I would say even invest in Bitcoin, learn what that is. Invest in stocks, learn what that is. Invest in CDs, invest in bonds, learn those things and see how you can come up and make money off of that. Anything else, Josh?
Absolutely. Like we were saying, get a house, Airbnb it out, buy yourself a trailer, just get ownership, get assets. Buy yourself an F-250. Yes, fellas, let that hood rich shit go. Unless you're trying to make some money off the slingshot, you don't need a slingshot.
Yeah.
I'm stepping on toes right now. I don't care. Fuck a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? If you're not about that life right now, fuck a Bentley. Unless you're sitting there gonna rent that shit on Toro. Get yourself an F-250. Make that a side business.
Yes,
You can
I agree.
junk. You can sit there and do hot shots. There's plenty of stuff that you can do in the industrial side of buying yourself assets. Go out there and buy yourself an ATM. Go out there and buy you a vending machine. But do it where you're making good money. Don't do it where you ain't got no money to try to sit there and do things that you can't afford. You have to buy assets. If you buy assets is going to put money in your pocket. That's the only thing. And me and they start to go back a little bit, that's what we've done different. Because to be honest, we had opportunities. I don't care if you're in school, take out a student loan. Guess what? Instead of going to buy those chains, either go make some shoes and sell them online, or shoot, guess what? Go sit there and buy you a vending machine or buy you an ATM with that student loan so you can pay your student loans back. Just think outside the box.
Yeah.
That's my main thing. Go ahead, start closing off us.
Well, that's excellent. I just want to close us off. I just want to say that I hope all my brothers that's watched this video, that listened in or stopped through, just take in some of the information that we said, because we've been there, we've done that, and we have other gentlemen that were there before us, and they told us a lot of this information as well. We're not saying anything to hurt you. We're saying all these things to motivate you. So, it's 2022. So get motivated for 2023. You still have time to do a lot of things. Get your body in shape, get your mind right, read good, at least 2 or 3 good books before the year ends. Make sure you work out, do your sit-ups and your push-ups. Make sure you look into Bitcoin, learn how to operate Bitcoin. Look into the oil rig jobs, look into the trucking jobs, look into the tech jobs, look at the at-home jobs. Learn how to pay yourself. You need to learn how to pay yourself. At least give yourself, I believe, 20%? Try to pay yourself 20% out of whatever you make, and save it. Cut that card up, save that money. So, a lot of those things will help advance you. And I know I titled this with sex in mind, but think about it. Once your money start building up, you'll be ready to be able to be with a woman. But right now, you can't be with a woman because your money's not right and your mind is not right. So that stuff ain't even going to operate right. So get your body, mind, and your finances right, and then you'll be able to look into a relationship, a wifey, or anything else of that nature. But right now, you need to be worried about a wifey or kids or anything like that. You need to be worried about making yourself the king that you need to be. And that is by operating, moving in the right directions. Your finances are key. Where you live is key. You know what I'm saying? Who's the circle of people you're around is key. So you get those things operating right, you'll be perfect, because now you have everything formed like Voltron, as we say over here. You're formed like Voltron. So then now it opens up another world for you. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. Good stuff, A-Star. Let's get it.
All right. So everyone have a blessed holiday weekend, and we'll be back next Sunday, the House of Star, with my co-host Josh. So y'all have an excellent weekend. We out.